that big of a deal. And
It's not really your spell anyway.
Yeah,
That's not what you play the hero for.
they have just so much magic amplification between the Ice Vortex and then Viper's Q for both the Storm Spirit and the Earth Spirit to do a ton of damage.
Last big Death Prophet. You were talking about push.
They're all in,
What better
man.
way to cap it all off than with a Death Prophet Exorcism?
This is Death Ball. This is straight up Death Ball. Every single one of their heroes is a pushing hero. But I think they can also 4-man while TB farms.
They can do that, and this is high tempo, strong laners. Usually when you worry about some kind of heroes being picked, you have to consider the lanes, especially when you're playing versus EG. But all of these are strong lanes. Death Prophet does fine, Brew and Shaman should do fine, TB and Ench should dominate. So they already have the tools there to deathball successfully without losing lanes.
Now Arteezy may need to find a hero that can either slow it down or speed it up in terms of combat. Maybe go face first into some fights. Of his signatures, most of them have been banned out. Go for the Nature's Prophet again. What did you think of the Nature's Prophet? Like in a vacuum type environment where they didn't have to deal with a carry axe, you think it was still the go-to pick for them?
I think it was a fine pick. I really do believe that they just were not prepared for how fast that axe was going to be in line. And that team fight made turn that game upside down. Had it gone slightly differently, the draft would have looked a lot better than it did.
So in this draft, LGD doesn't have the ability to defend towers as easily as before. It's very committal. If they defend a tower with their abilities, they're on cooldown for the next one. And so I do think playing a high-tempo lineup makes a lot more sense in this game, and that's just because EG had the last pick on the Furion. So there's no proper response from LGD because they literally can't. So
And Furion's an active hero, and you, like I said, AA needs to play with active heroes to be fully effective. And it looks like they're also ready to win lanes and brawl. Like, I can see this game going both ways.
yeah, I'm actually going to go EG with this one. I think they win lanes, and I think their heroes can play really fast in this game after winning lanes.
I'm going to go LGD because I will never root against them.
That's pretty
And
reasonable,
their draft
to be
still
honest.
looks good.
Yeah, they look like the just absolute best team in this tournament, but we'll see. That's how teams have looked in Game 1 in all of these series so far, so we'll see.
All right then, we have another setup for a spicy match. Again, things looking relatively even, but the way LGD has been going throughout this tournament, might be another quick 2-0, but we saw how these types of series played out in Singapore. First 3 games may not even mean anything. Well, first 2.5 games. Let's pass it over to our casters, Cap and Kyle.
4 out of 5 of the series that Evil Geniuses have played in their lower bracket run have gone the distance. 2-1. The only 2-0 they actually got was up against Nigma. So, Evil Geniuses, they've certainly shown that they know how to be able to bounce back from a loss. In fact, that was something that I really loved to hear about from Curtis, and he was talking about how these players, every single one of them, they say, this is the best team I've ever played on. He says that's usually a sign of having good mentality in the team.
I would agree, but I'm a bit concerned for their body language. I mean, EG, they're typically more subdued, you know, not often smiling in the pre-match, but definitely a little shaken after that last loss. I think their draft is a bit better here. Abed Storm, hero he played almost well enough to win the previous major final. PSGLG, overwhelming amount of team fight, and Crit has walked up high ground.
And very likely is going to be giving away the first blood. Oh, he tried to find the opening, but no! I cannot believe that angle got blocked. I thought for sure he was going to be able to roll away there, but nope. First blood going to be given to none other than Ame.
Of all the people to give it to.
Yep, and Ame Terrorblade at that, Kyle.
Yeah, we had discussed thinking Axe might be banned, but EG took it away immediately with the first 2 Viper. I think primarily out of fear of that Axe, the Nether Toxin disabling spin, so, you know, end of the day, you're not picking Axe into a Viper. Also, definitely a hero that could bully him out of the lane if they were to give it to Ame on the 1 position.
I think Fly actually started off trying to body block a little bit, but yeah, that's going to be LGD starting off with not just the first blood on Ame, but 3 bounty runes as well. So, Evil Genius is going to have to do pretty well in the lanes to start things off to be able to offset a small little advantage for LGD. So what is our lanes? I saw they were going to go for the Brewmaster. Oh, top lane, Ice, being pressured nice and early by the Trine lane of PSG LGD. second kill for LGD.
They've always been so good at that. Historically, whenever Ame's on the team, they give him the last hit. And you saw there was even covered. If that hadn't finished it, they would have picked it up with the Shaman, so it wasn't like there was a risk of Ice escaping. And I like this move. They start with the tri-lane. Not really much. I think Ench could probably do some damage down bottom, but not at level 1. That's the thing.
Sure. I mean, much better, much more important to be able to keep the Viper shut down against a Terrorblade than to make sure that your Brewmaster is having a perfectly A-okay time.
This is how you used to beat offlane Viper. They hear, oh, hang on.
Nice roll-in kickback. Doesn't quite hit the Remnant combo, but they still have the kill. That one's going to go to crit.
Look at the lane. 2-0, 9 and 3 on Abed. And he's getting a full wave deny under tower. That's crazy.
I think Abed's a little mad. And he's got a lot of reason to be mad. In fact, the reason for him to be mad at LGD dates all the way back to TI8. When two of these players, Jinkyu as well as PYW, first showed up on the international stage for Team Serenity. They managed to go through group stage, ended up in the lower bracket. They played that best-of-1 stage. You know who they played against, Kyle?
Fnatic?
Fnatic, that's right, Fnatic. Lost that best-of-1 against Team Serenity, and that Fnatic had Abed.
It's come a long way since then. Oh, that roster was star-studded, but never really got the results that this EG lineup has been able to accumulate during 2020 and 2021. So far, so good for EG. In a good spot on 3 lanes, but the trouble with offlane Viper has always been what happens if you just get owned in the laning phase. You're a lane dominator, and yeah, you can always go recover the jungle, but that's not ideal. Roll through won't land. Great gank from Crit, though. I think for him, well, for his team, it's going to be Crit on the Earth, which is going to have to step up. They want to W an Ame.
What? Okay, not only is he, I'm dead, like, he's dead, but now he has to walk back to lane because of that very, very awkward TP play.
Yeah, it was... I mean, he spent his gold, I believe, before he died, so that's something, but... Yeah,
there goes your first blood advantage.
He could have just TP'd on the roll, you know, like, it would have been fine, but...
Yeah.
You know, just not really respecting the dive, but that's the power of Viper. He hits level 3, and suddenly TB left alone is in big trouble. Surprised that PSG didn't think about just keeping a tri-lane. AA, a strong support, but it's not as if he'd be able to stop Faith Beyond alone from just pulling creep waves.
Which is what he's doing right now.
This is the sort of lane Nature's Prophet thrives in. Don't really mind the enemy offlaner, and they can't really kill Treants. So you see him just zoning out the Shadow Shaman, basically with just his AA and Treants. So very nice for EG so far. Ahead in, I would say, all 3 lanes. Looking at it, specifically mid, Abed is going off.
So I thought game 1 was really interesting because one of the things that Evil Geniuses has done very nicely this event is be able to have this like super aggressive, like the safe lane Furion. It feels like 3 aggressive cores, 3 semi-core sort of lineups and run at you, take over lanes and such, like they did at the Singapore Major. And they've also managed to fall back on the harder carry. And I thought game 1, I felt like that concept, that first one, got countered so hard that they were just going to back up and go for the hard carry again. But it seems like Evil Geniuses still have faith in this sort of 3 semi-carry sort of lineup.
Yeah, and I like it a lot more in this game because I think the support duo has just been straight up upgraded. Earth Spirit, better than Clock, and I think it's necessary to have their catch hero on crit, and I'd rather have an AA than a Lion. I know Lion, incredibly high priority, but this hero just seems bonkers, and really, well, I mean, another TP to the tier 1, but this time in time. PSLG, they took Death Prophet into AA. I consider AA a pretty damn hard counter because you remove drains. We've discussed it throughout the group stage, but drains feel like the real ultimate on Death Prophet. It's what give her that unkillable strength within a fight, and AA ult just removes that. And suddenly EG, they have so much catch from such a far range. You know, maybe Viper's just sitting there in the lane. Crit in the trees, he can roll in no problem. RTZ TP's in, Storm zips in. AA Blast. You have 4 heroes damage output, but they only represent 1 threat.
Crit and Ice 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 have no heroes to kill, so they go ahead and gank the big Eagle Song creep. Faith Beyond, body blocked in. Arteezy, he's shown the body blocking skills before in this tournament, most notably that Terrorblade illusion play that he had, and does so again against Faith Beyond's Brewmaster. Jinkyu, though, setting up. You could see the ward behind the tier 1 tower here. Looks to be able to see a hero rotating in and with this exorcism and with his disables, get a kill off of it. They're going to be able to find it, though. They're going to roll on in now, but it's going to be a little bit shy. 3 heroes here. Xinkyu, he's actually going to be gone on by Abed. Nobody else from the team is going to try and help him out, not even the Death Prophet. Just ran for the power runes and wasn't even there. They lost the 50-50. Oof.
Will Abed, he's going to charge uphill. He would love to steal the bounty as well, but he's going to leave that for his Earth Spirit. Pull drive-by scoop. And pull the creep wave too. So this is looking real good for EG. At the moment, it's at least, well, okay, let me rephrase. It's better than last game.
Yeah,
It's a good start.
Yeah.
And Ice is 6.
Yeah, and he's very likely dead. Nice rotations here from PSG LGD. They still managed to pick up the kill on Y. Ice will enjoy a bit of bump in the experience for that. Faith Beyond going to be gone on, though, as again, 3 heroes are postured on one side of the map. Both teams have a similar idea here. The laning phase is beginning to break down. Let's just provide overwhelming numbers to a certain side.
Yeah, but this is going much better for EG. They got a tower. You can feel RTZ definitely feels a lot more powerful. Instead of a Sand King who's already level 7, it's a Faith Beyond Brew that's just level 4. And the hero doesn't really have that easy farming mechanic to come back into the game. He's going to look to accelerate through team fights, but needs ultimate to do that. In addition, Abed, I think most comfortable of all heroes available on Storm, and he's off to a great start. He owned his lane, already level 8, and top net worth.
Now, of course, we heard the stat earlier, thanks to our friend Liamir, who gave us the stat on which objective first taken has the highest win probability. Xinkyu going to be run down here by the Shadow Shaman. Now, the mid tower is a very frequent go-to, and it's why it is so valued. But the off-lane tower is another one that usually has a very high win rate as the first objective taken on the map. And it usually means that you won your safe lane so hard that you got an objective you usually shouldn't be able to do. Or in this case, because you've got a Fury on safe lane.
Yeah, it happens like we saw it in this game. It's just for free. It's like, oh, well, we're owning so hard, the hero's not here, we'll just keep going. Unfortunately for PSG, they don't have great pickoff. Their support duo is somewhat worthless until the later portions of this game. Terrorblade, he's popping meta just to farm camps, and that's their gank attempt. Xinkyu walking forwards to try and Hex Shackle onto a Storm. Other than that, Arteezy, all the space in the world. He's actually rushing Maelstrom this game before Witchblade.
They're actually going to roll on a Terrorblade with meta out because Abed felt so strong, and they were right. Crit and Abed execute a metamorphosed Terrorblade who thought he could just farm up Ancients.
And he thought wrong. Didn't have Sunder skill, typical Ame, maximizing for his net worth grind. This time it's EG off to the races, huge lead. They'd love to scoop the mid tower, but they don't need it. Ult popped mid by Nothing to Say, had a regen running, so he'll still be full HP, but Ice looks like he might want to make a move here.
Yep, they're immediately going to start slowing somebody down. Wasn't sure if it was Nothing to Say or Xinkyu. Ends up being neither, thanks to the silence. Denies the Viper Strike. Still though, these sort of rotations that are forced when you look at the Nature's Prophet being there, well, he can always relocate to another side of the map, so.
This is such a better Prophet game. The support duo is so frustrated by these creeps constantly scouting and chasing them around. Ice is huge. Prophet, nothing to really fear here. There's no hard initiation inside of PSG. No pesky axes or Sand Kings to worry about clearing your creeps. So, just gonna hit tower.
Now, the way I usually like to describe these lineups, Kyle, is if this is a lineup that has to be ahead. Oh, the roll in. Not quite landing, but the silence to follow it up, and that'll easily free up Abed to be able to go for the execution. Nothing to Say. He's going to be underneath the Sprout, plus a Remnant. They do manage to get a stun immediately onto Abed. He's going to jump away thanks to the buyback. Very disciplined from EG, trying to get away and out. Abed with the last bit of mana. They're actually going to turn around on Nothing to Say here with the Ice Blast. Just the supports can kill the mid laner of LGD. Once again, the body blocks from Arteezy, netting another kill, this time onto Y, and Abed still running away. Faith Beyond desperate to be able to pick up this one kill, but it's denied. Vortex back into the roll-in, and Abed says, remember me? Thanks for the killing spree, buddy. Jin Q chased down underneath a tier 2 even. LGD are being hunted.
And EG, I hear them coming to life behind me. A lot of sound in that last engagement. Excellent team play. Abed surviving the Killman Tower, but they just commit.
Oh, Ice, you've overextended this time, surely. Can they not get in range? Do they not? Oh, no. He's gonna walk right past everybody. They're trying to go for it, but the urn is gonna heal him up a little bit more. And if they're not careful, they may get gone on by Abed, who now has a double damage rune.
Quick bottle pass over too, so Crit gives him a couple free charges. That was a really cool fight. Faith Beyond, he's going to be able to do this throughout these engagements, but he actually dispelled the Cold Feet off of Nothing to Say with his AoE Storm Spirit
nice.
cleanse. He can also do the same to Magnetize, keep in mind. So Crit has got to be a little cautious in a way. A big AoE Dispel just removes Earth Spirit's ultimate from the game, but the trouble is they're just behind. And Storm, way too strong at the moment, has DD, Kaya, they're looking to make moves.
A big pickup for LGD. Managing to get Arteezy here, but at the same time, they cannot afford to lose. Nothing to Say again, but they will anyway. Dominating streak for Abed as smoke. The 3-man smoke that they operated early is successful in finding a kill.
Fly also demonstrating why I like AA the most of any of these ranged intelligence support heroes. Ice Vortex. He's already got 3 points in it. He'll look to max it next. Increased magic damage. Will be 24% when maxed out, but more importantly, especially as Radiant, gives vision in the Roche
Long
pit.
zip in with a roll in from Crit to lead things off, and Ahmed, they're gonna roll away from him. He's looking for the Sunder. He does manage to get it off, and Ahmed, he's overcommitted now. He's gonna use the last bit of mana to be able to make a jump away here. And PSG LGD really want to be able to catch somebody with this. They're gonna pop the Primal Split. Leading off, Ice hit by the stun. Tornado onto the Ancient Apparition. This should net them 2 kills.
Nice split from Faith Beyond. And that's the bane of Viper. It doesn't matter what position or what time in the meta. Brewmaster loves to play against Viper. You just chase him down with the pandas and throw him up in the air. Not much you can do about it, but well done by EG to escape only the 2 losses. Very unfortunate that the Sunder was able to go off. I think maybe if Abed commits there, zips through for that one last attack with overcharge, like, it could be better. But alas, doesn't matter though. Arteezy, he had died top, but he went Maelstrom first, so he'll be looking to farm up as fast as possible. His BKB timing is everything in this game, because PSG LGD, their physical damage output is relatively limited. Yes, the TB meta could be tough to deal with, but he's a little bit behind, and the Death Prophet Exorcism isn't too fearsome. It'll also allow him to then commit, because he has all these heroes with tons of reach. You know, Storm Spirit and Earth Spirit gonna tag team, just dive in onto the support duo. Arteezy with the BKB, he'll just pour it in as well, pop it, and ensure they can finish by with 1 or 2 kills.
Another Ice Blast, another kill on Nothing to Say. This combination between Abed and his 2 supports, they're linking up so beautifully.
Yeah, Earth Spirit, one of the highest damage magic supports as well, and Fly just drops a Vortex and says, hey guys, here's more than a veil of added damage.
Yeah, mix in with the Ice Blast, so they have a sort of semi-global possibility of ganking. Like Abed can make these really long jumps and have the Ice Blast be set up by the Vortex. It looks good. Evil Geniuses are up by 4,000 net worth, but again, this is a lineup that needs to be able to stay ahead, correct? I mean, they are surely going to get outscaled by PSG LGD's lineup, right?
In theory, now they're once again.
Oh God, Nothing to Say. He cannot survive. Even this time around, he had the 2 supports behind him, but they couldn't stop Abed's damage. So they're going to trade an Earth Spirit for a Death Prophet. Which, like at this point, Death Prophet not that much farther ahead in net worth than this Earth Spirit.
Yeah, Nothing to Say has nothing to do, because every time he pokes his head up middle, he just gets wiped off the face of the earth. And you check out Faith Beyond, he's got the right read on the game. He's just Midas, Brown Boots, Soul Ring, because yeah, you're right. PSG LGD into the late game, much better scenario. You know, Brew Split, TB meta, DPXO, it's going to be a formidable force, but the trouble is right now, they can't do anything. They can't kill anyone, and they can't acquire any map control other than farming waves in front of their towers or sending TB illusions out. So maybe it's time to smoke. It looks like that may be the plan. grab the
PSG
bounty.
LGD have played this Brewmaster once before in iLeague about a month ago, and he did go this brown boots into minus into straight Aghanim Scepter Blink Dagger as his build, and even a refresher with the Aghanim Scepter. This guy knows what this hero's all about. It's the ultimate in as many primal splits as possible.
Exactly, it gives you the second. It doesn't necessarily increase the uptime. Well, it does, but the replenish time just replaces the cooldown. But it's just, you always have an ult up. That's the theory, and it just means you have to wait longer if you want to take a fight at full strength. But we'll see. BKB is going to be the name of the game. PSG LGD, they got it queued up. Oh, double smoke by accident. That's very bad for them.
Oh, God.
A bit behind, and they accidentally two-timed it. They're fighting right on top of an EG ward if they pop on fly. Looks like that might happen.
They're gonna move around here, down to the low ground. It pops. Immediately the Exorcism is gonna go out. Jin Q trying to catch somebody here, but Crit with a turnaround. Rolls immediately onto the Shadow Shaman, gets off a two-man silence with the Magnetize. Beautifully set up, but Faith Beyond is here to be able to counteract. Crit looking to be able to roll away. A Sunder goes out from Abed, but he is just dead. This magic damage is too much for him to handle, and that's even before Abed is here. Use the rest of his mana to catch up to Nothing to Say. As a bit more for their Electric Vortex. Thank goodness Faith Beyond is there with the Storm, the Cyclone up in the air. That'll deny the Nothing to Say kill, but that's it. That's the only person they could save. 4 dead on the side of LGD.
It is only fitting, Cap. First thing we said at the start of this tournament, control the armor, control the game. Well, things have changed over the last 11 days, and EG have learned the new tweak. It's not the physical armor, it's not the TA you gotta worry about. It's actually the magical armor. The early Veil on Crit, the maxed Vortex from Fly, they easily turn it around. They also, of course, minus magic resist from the Viper right clicks with Q active. So 3 different methods of reducing the magic damage.
With a Storm Spirit core that naturally outputs a ton of magic damage. Yeah, like, we didn't even get to see Abed really go to work there in that last team fight, but I could see that, like, they build up that magic resistance and he zips in and he just, like, would crush people.
And don't forget new Furion ulti as well. A ton of magic damage. At level 2, it'll start at 150 with 10% plus 5 damage increased per bounce. You've also got RTZ rushing a Maelstrom. Why would you do that? If it's the best farming item, and it's also going to do magic DPS within the engagement. So I thought for sure EG was just going to cut and run, but they got that initiation onto the Shadow Shaman. You saw Faith Beyond went for the Dispel, but it doesn't work. Once Cold Feet has already procced, you can just Dispel it while it's still forming. So a little late on that, and PSG, they just get surprised. Everybody was there, EG was ready.
To give you an idea of how much damage Wrath of Nature can do, you're talking about level 1 maxing out at around 600 damage. Level 2 gets closer to 800 damage. Like, those last couple of hits can do an insane amount. You add some magic resistance reduction there. It's maybe even more than just pure damage if they have enough of it. Evil Genius is going to be able to find this pick off on Jin Q and turn it into a tier 2, first tier 2 of the game, down by 18 minutes. So look for that outpost to be taken.
Yeah, this is the way to win Dota right now. I love this from EG. I think first game, maybe still a little tired, right? They had to win a BO3. They had to wait for the Wii show to conclude. And they got caught napping in that fight around the tier 1. This time, it's the aggression. It's the fact that they actually have playmaking potential. You know, not like Fly played a poor Clockwork, but I think Crit much more at home on this active roaming position. It's what he's had the most success with so far in his career. And just better lanes too, right?
Yeah.
EG's lanes actually
the lanes went really well for them this time around. Now, LGD, we talked about this game 1. They have such a strong understanding of timings, right? And being able to know when your lineup has this really nice peak against the enemy lineup. And we've seen them be down under aggressive teams before and just stall the game out until they hit a certain point. What is that turnaround point for LGD? What would that look like as we're going to watch Y? Die again here. As Die again here. There it is. Okay, we got it.
They were a little concerned that there might be follow-up with that silence, but they just don't have anything to fear. So you ask, okay, well, what's the turnaround point? Probably the BKBs. Ame's about to finish his. Nothing to Say, still a full recipe away.
Jin Q's trying to build one. Of course, that may be
a long time.
half an hour from now, given the current rate of the game for him.
He's going the cool build, though, where you get a quick blink, but maxed out Hex and Shackles. So the thing that I love about this hero is you represent kill threat with basically any other hero in addition to yourself.
Sure.
It's so much lockdown, you drop wards, you can see him playing with nothing to say. That's what they're looking to do here.
So similar to game 1, where Evil Geniuses got to a point where they're going to try and split push as much as possible, PSG LGD is going to do something similar here, but this time around, it feels like they actually have real kill threat.
Yeah.
Whereas last time around, we watched Evil Geniuses like smoke to no avail time and time again. It just felt like they couldn't actually reliably get kills. So EG is going to have to be careful and guard their lead well. Otherwise, a pickoff as simple as just being able to catch Abed, say, in the bottom lane could be a massive turnaround for PSG LGD. Of course, maybe not Abed with the Aegis that he's currently rocking. That would be a little difficult.
It's all going to be the team fights. Because Faith Beyond,
Yeah.
like, it feels weird, but you have to buy Midas just for the XP and to stay engaged, right? The Sand King has a method of just clearing waves. You're going to be able to accelerate your own farm, no problem. Brewmaster just doesn't farm. And you can't with a Terrorblade consistently taking your waves. So he's just going to churn gold over time and eventually have Axe, which makes him a huge teamfight winner. Like, the reason you don't see Brew is because I think you just get enough teamfight from other heroes, but Brewmaster really is the lord of the teamfight. It's going to be a tough game for it. Abed Storm specifically is in a fantastic spot, holding on to the Aegis for another 2.5 minutes. So, of course, smoke out, look to get aggressive. You've got so much catch, too. A crit also, he's got a BKB queued up. That's going to be an awesome item. That's my favorite type of Earth Spirit to play. When you get ahead like this, you can just veil BKB in the middle of a fight, ignore everybody on the side of PSG LGD.
I've been seeing this a lot in pubs right now. These 4 positions that rush an early BKB, and it just feels like they're unstoppable. They just jump in, pop that BKB, and they're just tanky enough that they can last in a team fight rather than just being sort of the initiator that dies right off the bat.
And Abed is just enormous. He's going to have an Orchid soon, like that decision. It forces BKB by itself if he zips in with crit, and he'll be able to solo kill both supports for some time. And yeah, just push out bottom. Mjolnir already up on Arteezy.
To be fair, is there any downside to going BKB on these cores, though? I feel like just because of the lineup and the magic damage we were talking about, they were always going to go BKB. So
sure, but the problem is, like, specifically on Nothing to Say, like, this is not a performance we'd see from him often. He is just straight up hood BKB. So he's, again, playing for a timing that's now. They need to win a fight now. And if EG get a read on that and just try to slow things down, ensure any 5-on-5 engagement takes place in their territory where they have vision, where they have the high ground, they're out farming every minute.
Yeah.
And it'll really just be Ame at the end of the day that isn't a real damage threat, somebody who's actually scaling. Yeah, Faith Beyond, Midas, not terrible, but they're in a rough spot. You can just look at the map. PSG, they're just mirroring, they're cutting waves. And they've ceded complete control of their ancient shrine.
Faith Beyond. Perfectly controlled in his split pushing right now, 1100 away from that Aghanim Scepter. I'm not even sure how good this is gonna feel, just because the Orchid on Abed, like, it's nice to have 2 charges, but what if he doesn't even get off the first one?
That's the thing, it's more time needed. They need the BKB on him as well. Because he's the real save for the Orchid in a way. Like, Faith Beyond, honestly, you have to play in Flawless Brew to get this game. The AoE Dispel on the Storm Panda is actually really underrated. But
no doubt.
I just don't see who he's going to save. The damage is going to come so fast. Fly, you're in trouble.
He is in trouble. He's being chased down right now by a full PSG LGD squad. Evil Geniuses will not turn around and try and save their captain. Watch out, it just make a long TP zip out. Whoa, never mind. Crit actually went in. And he caught Faith Beyond him.
What?
Oh, we got to see that one again. I'm assuming maybe he took a little bit of ball lightning damage. They hit him with the ice blast, and then Crit saw, okay, he's low enough. I can just commit to this.
I was still at camera on Abed. Yeah, I mean, Crit just crushed him. He didn't even magnetize. That was so much damage. But yeah, you're right. The ice blast hit. I don't know.
They're going to force out that BKB, or at least try to anyway. Nothing to Say is going to be keeping it under control here. The Bloodstone, it's gonna go off, but the damage is coming so fast they get the kill. Abed falls, and a monster kill streak goes to nothing to say. That is 741 gold for him.
Of all the heroes to feed to DP, that is not the move.
And PSG LGD, they know too. They're gonna try and tilt Abed, though I have heard that this man is untiltable. But maybe Emo can claim otherwise.
He's still one of the most consistent players in the scene. I would put that finals on Abed. That was just IG coming through with some new stuff, but questionable. They saw the BKB. They knew he had one. I like the play if he zips back immediately, right? Oh, we tried to force it. He, kept his discipline, conserved the cooldown, but he zips into the fog and just boom, the instant hex that Effie was talking about being concerned, and they just blow everything. There's no BKB on Abed. The silence came out from crit, but nothing to say. The Orchid had faded by that point, so he hit with the AoE silence. It was a great board trap, and they get a kill on maybe not the most important player on EG, because Arteezy's farm is actually pretty huge. He's actually outpacing the Terrorblade. He'll have an AC finish at just 300 gold. And I've heard tell that Prophet kind of not out-carries Terrorblade, but carries him like in this way, in this kind of game. You're ahead, you control the map.
So you just can stay ahead by, 10,000 net worth, let's say. You can't go pretty late against a team.
Eventually you're going to buy a Hex. Like, they're going to have tools to kill Terrorblade. They'll have the damage output because PSG LGD, their lineup is ultimately moving closer and closer to a 4-pick single core.
Yep.
Yes, the other cores provide a ton of team fight, but they're not going to get their slots finished the same way EG's other two cores will.
Right.
And the support duo of EG is definitely going to output more damage. We shall see the brewings of a big fight upcoming.
AC complete. The Rod of Atos is going to come out first, but Force Staff defend against the Ice Blast. Ice. Forced down to low ground here to get away. He's going to defend that ward with his life, it seems. Ice. Going to be caught by the Hex, though. Immediately counter. Initiation there from Abed. Silences up Shin Q. Arteezy looks to finish him off. The Sprout actually blocking him in, but Shin Q, as a man, turns around and shackles up Artur before he finally dies to crit. Now, PSG LGD are not quite sure what to do here. They've popped that Brewmaster ultimate. The Primal Split is out.
He has Axe, though. One more if he needs it.
He's got another one to go here. May try and pop it. If he's gonna pop it, he needs to do it now before the jump comes in, and he does. He turns around, immediately stuns up crit. Here comes, nothing to say, blocking out crit, not allowing him to be able to roll away. They want the kill on the support because that's all they can get right now. BKB used by Ame, and even fearfully popping this. Oh no, that Sunder just led to nothing to say. He's dead.
Another time, another no BKB. Abed's gonna go for more Fade Beyond. He will be able to TP away, no interrupt nearby, but I feel like I've seen Ame do that before in both this tournament and previous ones. I don't blame him. He's playing somewhat selfishly. He didn't have BKB, but yeah, nothing to say. You gotta be cautious. He had vision, which is what's weird. Like, he had vision of that high ground and just charged up it. If he BKB's there, that's a sick play. Abed was real low on mana. Maybe you can turn that around. Full health meta TB behind you.
Yeah.
But uncharacteristic, and EG hold on to their lead.
Ame with the betrayal on, nothing to say. Will keep farming. He's trying to win this game solo, it seems. Has 17,000 net worth. Is only 1,500 behind Arteezy, who is going to be going for an Eon Disc. So once again, we're going to be seeing that item put to use as the game goes late to make sure there's no freebie pickoffs.
It's somewhat necessary because he fears the roster. That's the 100 to 0 that could take him down. This would allow him the cleanse into the immediate BKB. So team fights could be troublesome, but it means he can split push a lot safer. They don't have any BKB TP interrupt.
Going through some of the potential items that have been picked up or will be picked up. I have to say that Aghanim Scepter is probably the most exciting one for the Storm Spirit. Pulling them into both the Earth Spirit and Ancient Apparition AoEs, that sounds pretty good to me.
And they gave that first shard, though, to Arteezy. The Sprout making greater treants. It used to be broken. The first couple weeks with that addition were really silly, and I just saw greater treants killing Raxes by themselves, but still effective, and it'll help him farm faster and keep lanes shoved. You can see the EG MO right now. The 3 cores slowly grinding out a net worth lead. Arteezy keeping tabs on Ame, and the other cores on the side of PSG LGD, they're kind of drifting drifting further and further behind. They have their items online, they want to fight. But if they can't fight, well, they're just kind of running in circles.
Yeah. I will say that I think Faith Beyond is going to be kind of okay because he's just a primal split most of the time anyway, but I'm really concerned about Nothing to Say's net worth drifting lower and lower down the list here as now he's behind Ice on the Viper. I want to talk about this Viper build a little bit because was it you that we were talking about Cuckoo's Viper, how he built up a damage build? Maybe it was Curtis, but going to be going for like more of the utility style. The Viper to start things off with the Rod of Atos and the Urn rather than the Dragonlance Treads build.
I don't mind it. Oh, he has no... Is he dead?
Yeah,
Yes.
he's dead. Ice Blast is coming in hot. Or maybe cold, and that will be the death of Faith Beyond. 26-13 now in Game 2 of this best-of-5. Evil Geniuses looking to even out the series.
He's got a shard on ice, too. Now, poison attack affecting buildings,
Yeah.
reducing its armor by 1 per stack.
So now they've that is very clear. You only get that
Oh.
pickup really when you want to go high ground. So.
But it also gives you an increase on max stacks, so it's even more potential minus magic resistance as well. That's pretty cool. That's for hero damage. So yeah, the Storm AA output is actually going to be kind of crazy now. I wouldn't be surprised to see Dagon's picked up. But high ground against PSGLD, this is real tough. To your point about the build, yeah, I think that the Force Staff was just needed. I also really like that they got one early on the side of PSG-LGD because you need it to avoid that deadly Atos, Nether Toxin, Ice Blast combination. The Force Away will save somebody. And yeah, they're actually going to get one onto Ame as well because he realizes more forces are going to be necessary.
Okay. Building it up.
And this is a cool read as well. Again, going back to the AA, if you remember the 3-time Leshrac from PSG-LGD yesterday, it was all about the spell lifesteal, the healing amplification. Where AA removed that, and you notice Nothing to Say, he didn't change his build. Hood, a BKB, but he's now going for the Sanj Kaya. So again, playing around that self-regen amplification, but it won't be effective if he gets blasted. It won't be as effective if he gets hit by, say, a Viper with Scotty, which is, of course, going to be Ice's next item.
Yeah, the way you put that, it really makes it seem like this Ancient Apparition and just this heavy amount of magic damage in general seems to be a good game plan for Evil Geniuses against what PSG-LGD has done the best with. Now they are being smoked across. Ice is going to go for that one extra creep wave. TP out, but he's caught. Shin Q. Great blink in, hex by him. And the first big pickoff we've seen in a minute here for PSG-LGD. Unfortunately, they can't really take much map control off of that because these damn treants are everywhere. It's like an infestation. PSG-LGD going to try and deal with that as best as possible.
Really nice. Oh, Abe.
Jump forward, does manage to find Jin Q. Gonna go for the fast Shadow Shaman kill. They do manage to get again. The cleanse coming out from the purge, but sadly Jin Q is low enough that he dies to the right click of Arteezy. Arteezy actually copping a bit of damage here. They try to force step him up into the base here. They know he's got an Aegis, so they can't overcommit for this kill. They're gonna go for it now. All right, that's gonna be one. Ame setting up around the second life here. So's the rest of the team. They're going to go for Arteezy almost immediately. Artur trying to deal with this one. The Eont is going off. Slowed down by the Scotty. Ame, they're trying to force staff through the trees and will manage to kill Arteezy. Looking for more now. Force staff up. Faith Beyond. Ooh, a little bit too late to get that disable out. Still, though, managing to kill Ice during the pickoff, and then Evil Genius is getting a little bit too aggressive, loses their carry in Arteezy. We're back down to a 9,000 net worth lead only for EG. They cannot afford too many of those mistakes, Kyle.
No, they can't, and it's just uncharacteristic. Like, if you're going to commit for the Rasta kill, get it. Finish the kill, commit early. But they took this sort of delayed team fight. They'd used all of Storm's Mana Pool and Ice Blast, and then they were looking to commit later into the fight.
They are not respecting this Scotty. Thankfully, the double force staff got the wrong angle, and Ame ended up on the low ground rather than on the high ground where he could have maybe chased down Crit some more.
It's getting dangerous, EG.
Yeah.
Gotta chill a bit. I like the aggression, but I just want them to do it as a unit. Like, be strong. And if you're gonna make that kind of play, I would love it. You know, Abed, he's got the Aeon disc. I kind of wish if they were gonna play it in this manner that they had just bought BKB. Like, you look at the net worth lead. Yes, it's 9K, but you gotta keep in mind how much money has been spent on these Eons.
It
There's one
feels
on-
like they were overly focusing on the pick-off potential, and as a result, sacrificed some of their team fight
Yeah,
potential.
exactly, because that's a lot of dead gold now on both Arteezy and Abed. Your top 2 net worth cores have spent a lot of money on an item that just saves them from a pickoff. And yeah, it could be useful in a team fight, but you saw how well Artur served him in that fight.
Sure, yeah.
Like, it's not really a lead. And Ame's Terrorblade, this is the hyper carry. This will utilize net worth better than any other hero in the game. Going for the Swift Blink, I actually am a big fan because positioning is going to win the war here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if he can spend more time getting in the face of evil geniuses and right-clicking and less time trying to chase after heroes, it's going to feel mighty nice for PSG LGD. This is a big difference between Game 1. There was a lot of similarities in the first 15 minutes, but like Game 1, to be honest, EG, I feel like they had zero chance. Even if they pushed the game another 10-15 minutes, it felt like their lineup wouldn't be able to compete. But we know PSG LGD's, this Terrorblade, it can work.
This has been the story of the tournament for PSG LGD. When they win, it's dominant. When they lose, it's a grind.
Yeah.
Like there is no just 20-3 walkover. They make you earn it. You're gonna need to grind like 3 Roches, 4 Roches. Your item decisions have to be on point. You don't get the free team fight. They're not gonna just lose a core here, lose a core there. Oh, guess who won? Take the base. They make you beat them 5-on-5, oftentimes more like 5-on-8 because they'll have the buybacks ready. In this case, now Bots on the Death Prophet. He will not have a buyback for now. Ame has his. Faith Beyond has the Aghanims. Oh, love it. He has the locked Vitality booster, so he can assemble Eon if necessary. Refresh our next item. And the Ceremonial Robes, the Earth Spirit will carry that aura. Minus magic damage, minus magic resistance and status resistance. 1200 AoE, very effective.
You know, they keep on Arteezy even risking a few hits himself. The double Siege Wagon push. This tier 3 may end up being the first to fall here. PSG LGD. All right, they're here in force. Evil Geniuses will back up. They're immediately going to smoke on PSG LGD here. The Wrath of Nature used, and Roshan.
Not spawning, but it could have. So they have to get out there.
Yeah,
It was a long spawn.
They got to get some control of the map. They got to get some wards down. Hopefully they get a pick off with this. That's what they're hoping, but they're not going to find it. Arteezy teleported to top, and now he's at bottom.
He's going all in for the right click.
Any
Safe
chance that they keep this going, that they keep wrapping through and through and through? They check the Roshan pit just to see if it was an early spawn. It's not. It's a late one. It's going to be another 2 minutes. And if they don't show soon, Evil Geniuses will hit that high ground again. And they're going to force PSG LGD to mass TP back. It's going to be too late. Tier 3 is definitely dead. Arteezy going to keep it going here. But oh, immediately the blink in from Ame. He's going for Arteezy here. The Eon Disc, the 4 staffs are trying to get Artur out of here. He turns around. BKB activated. Goes Satanic as much as possible. The Ice Blast, it's going to whiff. The roll on in from Crit is trying to stall out the damage with the Terrorblade, but it overwhelms Arteezy. And look at the suck. Nothing to say. Managing to take on 3 members of Evil Geniuses at one time. 2 of them die. Abed longs him in, but the Hex, is that going to be enough? They turn it around, trying to finish off Ame. He's pumping out the damage. Abed, he doesn't get him. The Orchid does, though. They weren't able to dispel that one. They get Ame. What a disaster it would have been for Evil Geniuses if they couldn't get that one carry. They trade 4, though, for the 3, of PSG LGD.
You get a buyback on the Enchantress, but man, like the killer instinct from PSG LGD. Ame just goes. Blink forward, meta, BKB, attack. And Artur, he has no hope but to turn and fight. Unfortunately, it just didn't look like they were ready. You saw Fly just kind of threw up the Ice Blast in a panic, whiffed everybody, and that gave nothing to say. The freedom to do exactly what he's doing on your screen. Just everywhere. Kills the Viper by himself, full HP. If he's not Ice Blasted, he fears nothing.
God, look at this reaction. He turns around somehow. Barely outside of that vortex. Oh my God, that was so close. If he gets pulled, those 3 are dead. They're all dead. Abed lives, very likely. Crit might be able to get out. Crit probably dies anyway.
Yeah,
but
Abed had a cheese. He had a cheese and wasn't able to use it. He was full CC'd.
You're talking about like 50 range, like the smallest margin on that pull of the vortex. If he catches Jin Q. it potentially would have been a huge loss for PSG LGD. Instead, it's a huge win. Once again, back to that 9,000 net worth lead for Evil Geniuses, but the game is stalling out, Kyle. This net worth lead is not the same as it was 15 minutes ago,
No,
right?
it's not. No, it is not at all. And suddenly it actually feels like PSG LGD are taking control of the game. This Roche pit will be where the battleground is marked. Well, moving forward, no refresher yet on Faithman, but he has a buyback, so will happily be the one to be initiated upon.
It's an opportunity. Evil Geniuses return to being able to control this game.
Force the Aeon. That's
Or
big.
a chance for PSG LGD to break EG. It all happens around this Roshan disc. The Eon disc is going to be popped on Faith Beyond, so it won't be able to play that frontline game again.
You gotta be careful now because the Shadow Shaman has a BKB.
Yeah.
This is where things get a little scary.
Look at that flicker. I'm surprised nobody's taking that just because the Dispel would be really nice to have for even just a support against Abed's Orchid. Another Dispel, this time for Stormcrafter for Ice. At least he finds that, rather.
EG, they have an advantage in the pit though because they have these tools requiring vision. Vortexes are gonna start appearing everywhere.
They're gonna jump in.
And-
All right. They pop so many ultimates here. Evil Geniuses, if they can cleanly back away, it's okay, but they do have to stay around the pit somehow because Ame, he's putting out the damage pretty fast. The Ice Blast, it's gonna be able to spot it. Here comes Ame. Can he pick it up again? He gets it. He gets the Roshan, he gets the Aegis, and he gets out. Evil Geniuses rolling on in with crit. He's not gonna let him get away so easily, but the block from Y, it allows the Terrorblade to be able to take up and turn around with the Sunder, and they kill crit. Arteezy, man fighting right now against Shin Q. Nothing to say, but now Ame has joined the fight, and now that is a fight that Arteezy cannot win. This is a fight that Ahmed may be caught in. Ice is gonna swept up on. Ahmed dropped down to the ground, goes for Shin Q. Has the Orchid on him, a nice pull, managed to catch the other support as well. Pops a cheese, trying to get back up. He has the Aegis, so he can still play this one out. Waiting for the second lives of Arteezy. He's gonna be coming in off bed. Backing up here. They're not gonna keep chasing after LGD because they know they do not have the numbers for it. Ice dead for 60 seconds. They may have gotten barely a victory inside of the Roshan pit by grabbing the Aegis, but ultimately, Kyle, it doesn't feel that good for EG.
No, not at all. I mean, Abed is playing out of his mind. He got thrown down from the tornado and had the immediate Orchid pre-hex. Otherwise, he just dies to Jin Q. Amazing plays by Faith Beyond. He basically wins this fight. Ame, once again, forces EG into a move. They somewhat panic. Crit just kind of rolls forward, and now he's alone because Abed has already got what he came for and zipped out. Crit continues to pursue. Fly is way out of position. He's in the river for some reason, so he dies. Crit chasing a Terrorblade alone up the high ground. Now he's dead, so it's suddenly a 3-on-5. You see Arteezy, again, no choice but to man fight. The blink from Ame playing huge dividends as he just gets perfect positioning, but the support duo of EG have got to just chill out. They have got to relax. PSG LGDs, they're getting all these spells of Watch here. Abed's gonna come down, immediate the Orchid. Otherwise, he's dead 100%. Tries to go in, gets a 3-man pull. He's literally doing everything that he can. But there's just no damage, and Ame is killing everyone. Everyone.
Yeah, this Nature's Prophet, it just cannot hold a flicker of a flame to the bright burning bonfire that is Ame's carry Terrorblade right now. He is just destroying these team fights.
Yeah, and I agree with Arteezy's decision. He has a Rapier queued up because in this item build, he forgot that he actually had to deal damage. And Eon Disc and a Satanic, it's cool, but he's dying with Satanic active.
Yeah.
It's the regen reduction. The Shivas plus the Scotty, yeah, that item's worthless, Artur. It's like 30% effective, and you don't do any damage, especially to a Terrorblade.
Here comes
sitting
another
at
one.
46
Blink Hex.
armor.
Ice. I believe he used buyback on that last one, so he is going to be dead for a while. 80 seconds with no buy available. LGD are going to start taking objectives. LGD are going to force more mistakes out of Evil Geniuses.
I don't know how you come back from this one, man. EG, if you were going to win this game, you had a huge lead 20 minutes ago. It has dwindled away. It's a level 25 on your Death Prophet. Wards get dropped. And that's a meta TB. They're just pushing.
Yep.
He's level 25.
Abed. He's going to have to do some of those zipping shenanigans. He's got to watch out for Shin Q, though. You can see him lying in wait in the trees, ready for his opportunity to be able to blink Hex. Meanwhile, the buildings are falling fast, and EG can do nothing to stop it. He kills the creep wave. But ultimately, LGD, they got what they came for.
They're just so composed, Cap. Like I said, they make you beat them. And EG just haven't played clean enough. With this huge lead, it doesn't feel like they've got a single engagement on their terms. They found pickoffs, but every team fight, somehow, even with a huge disadvantage, it was PSG LGD kind of forcing the action.
Sure.
When Ame commits, they all go. EG discombobulated. They've lost their lead. Now the 9K advantage rests for their opposition. PSG LGD looking dominant. A game up in the series, and at this rate, soon to be 2.
Look at the buildup from Abe. He got the shard. He recognizes that his other cores are not putting out enough damage. So he's going to give them a little bit of helping hand and give them some overload charges to work with, and then finish up his BKB. Meanwhile, Refresher, Terrorblade, Refresher on Death Prophet, Refresher on Brewmaster. 3 cores that are ultimate dependent and making sure that they can always fight. So cool from LGD.
It really is. And Ame, he has 4,000 health, a Satanic, a BKB, the Refresher that you mentioned, and a 6-second cooldown on Sunday. Like, EG, they're lacking damage. Like, that's the issue with the whole draft now. It was great, the stacking magic resistance. It's like, whoa, they're killing everything. People explode. Well, we're too late in the game now. It's a cute combination, but who's actually going to right-click your way home? They're just going to walk up high ground and pop their spells. They have even the Wolf Creep, thanks to Enchantress.
There's been a net worth lead for Evil Geniuses the entirety of the game, but now it's LGD, 9K up, all in. Evil Geniuses with a Divine Rapier. Arteezy jumping into the back. They're going for Ame right away, but the damage, it is pitiful. Arteezy, he now needs to be able to find a way out of here. Their Glimmer Cape, they don't have anything. He's just gonna die. He's feeding away the Rapier.
He has no buyback.
He has no buyback. Evil Geniuses. That's it for them in game 2, it's looking like, unless the 4 of them can do something without their carry, the pull in onto all the... Whoa! What was that? BKB's activated, immediately a buyback coming out from Ame. He still has that Refresher to work with, so he's going to be joining his team. Boots are traveling in.
He needs the BKB. We've just witnessed the magical burst from EG is still there.
Pops a meta. Respecting Evil Geniuses and their magic damage, keeping his distance, another Ice Blast, but pops the BKB. He's going for the throne, and he's gonna ignore Evil Geniuses' magic damage. He will ignore the roll-in from Crit and end the game. PSG LGD and a best-of-5 grand finals are now up 2-0.
They're just so sick, Cap. EG making mistakes. No ifs, ands, or buts. They're going to need to clean things up as a unit because PSG LGD, they may have 5 players, but they're acting as if they have only the one mind. Every single time they commit, it just looks like they're unstoppable. Like, this game, they shouldn't have any business winning. They're talking about 12K gold, like 20-something minutes in. They've lost all of these towers, and yet they're somehow the ones that feel like the aggressors when we get into that juicy late game and everything's decided by team fights.
PSG LGD just looking like a sick team right now in this grand finals. Evil Geniuses at the last major, the Singapore major, they were up 2-0. And then we had that infamous moment where Emo managed to break EG with a question mark. Now, I'm not sure what EG needs. I'm not sure if they need an exclamation point or a closed bracket or something, but they got to turn the series around with something a little different, Kyle.
I think so. Hey, it would be a really interesting reversal of fate. If somehow they get a 3rd game, they drop something spicy in all chat. It's a lot of similarities, but I don't know, man. They're going to need to play a bit better because right now PSG LGD steamrolling.
Oh, yeah, they absolutely are. Let's go ahead and check in with Rich.
It's looking like that curse that Arteezy bears is even stronger than the curse that Kyle puts on teams when he makes a prediction for them. And look, let's be completely honest, AY, pretty tough to be an NA Dota fan right now, but at least we're not European.
True. Good copium right there.
Right? Yeah, I mean, look, China, coming into this, everybody said, like one of the hardest regions to beat. But when we actually do look at it, I think that all of a sudden it became very apparent that it wasn't really the region itself. It was LGD that was looking like the dominant team from that region. And we need to talk about all of the things that happened inside of that game.
Yeah, for sure. This second game started off in a different manner, right? It was EG that were controlling it completely. The top lane felt pretty early on. Well, you could argue that in the first game similar things happened, but they had the full control of the match. However, some uncharacteristic mistakes happened to them in a couple of very crucial moments. The first one probably is losing the Aegis on the mid lane. Storm zips in. Abed, even though he had a fantastic game, that did give a breath of fresh air to the side of PSG LGD. Then again, when they were pushing the bottom lane, AA's ulti does not connect on the Terrorblade, allows him to just completely go Giga Chad mode and eliminate everyone on the side of PG. But mistakes aside, PSG LGD again had a fantastic game. Panda, with that Midas, he was able to split push and create enough space constantly for the Terrorblade, who was never really that far behind. You can see that he was keeping up with Nature's Prophet constantly.
I'm excited to see everything inside of these key moments that we're actually going to be watching, because there were just so many big things that happened, particularly towards the end of the game as well.
I think this fight in particular that we're sitting on a replay, that one was just like Dota theory bad. Like your Viper died before the fight, you have like a 10k gold lead, and then they go in 4v5. Like their comms are saying that this is the highest percentage like fight we can take. To be honest, like I don't know what happened. Maybe they're trying to make a clutch play, but it's not the normal, safe, methodical play I expected to see out of Evil Geniuses.
Especially when you're in this situation in the grand finals, you shouldn't be taking too many risks, and this is the fight in which AA's ulti completely whiffs on Ame. He goes back, kills off the Storm, dies in the end to the Orchid, but all these little small plays that they're trying to do, like dispel even the Orchid from Ame, that would actually enable him to live through the whole fight, not only eliminate. And the Hex from Zinq on the Storm was also insane. Oh my god.
Yeah, Ame, he really pulled, we were saying Arteezy Giga Chad at the start of this panel, but Ame this game, he was definitely the Giga Chad. He 1v5.
We said Giga Chad way too much. I never want to hear that word again. I said it one time. You guys have said it more than chat has spammed it. And you know how unlikely it is for somebody in chat to put in a message and then somebody else to put in the same exact message? It's highly unlikely.
Yeah, that never happens.
It never happens, not at all. But talking about things that repeat themselves, it looks like EG's fate is starting to repeat itself here. It always has been, but when you look at game one and you look at game two, very different games, right? A complete wash in the first game, and then in the second game, it really does look like EG's going to be able to take it. And you gotta talk about everything that EG has at the beginning of that game as well. I mean, first of all, you give Abed a great hero for him. All of a sudden, he has something that is more active. It's looking good. And still, LGD's just able to rip everything away from them. What causes that?
So, going back to the first game, I thought the first game was like a knowledge outdraft by LGD because they picked a lane matchup that EG didn't know about, and it caused EG's entire game plan to fall apart. Going into game two, I thought that EG did something really cool where I thought LGD had a slightly better draft, but they changed how the lane set with Crit's early rotation onto Nothing to Say's DP mid. They get a kill early, it allows Abed to completely take over the game. However, as the game went on, like we just saw, like LGD, they're just so smooth at taking the map. I don't understand. They're down so much gold, but they're just calm. They take the exactly right engagements. They punish every time EG messes up. Like, you know, against a lesser team, that top play where the Vipers are right dead, they have Aegis, that's still sort of a 5v5. They would win that versus any, like, most other teams. But LGD, they're just there.
You give EG lanes, tempo, and a Viper, they're baiting pretty much any other team that we saw inside of this tournament. And LGD just didn't break a sweat.
They're just so methodical, so precise with the movements and the fights. And one big thing is not how you take the fight, but where you take it. And it always feels like they're taking it where they want to. They're always on the high ground. That Terrorblade with the Metamorphosis is always somehow hitting you from the high ground. It's very difficult to approach in that way. And it doesn't have to be his own high ground next to the tier 3s. It can be anywhere in the jungle where they set up. They choose where to fight, which I think is very crucial.
Isn't that especially impressive against a Furion and a Storm? I think those two heroes specifically are good at letting you choose your fights, but somehow LGD have managed to outplay that. I mean, they have a Terrorblade, which sort of counters Nature's Prophet's lane push, but still, it was amazing to see.
Yeah, look, when you go into that second game, you see everything that EG had to work with. What do you want to see in game number 3? They need to get a reverse sweep now against LGD, who has looked, I feel like a lot of people would have said LGD looked like the best team here even before we got to this grand final, right? Obviously, they make it to the grand final, but even before we got here, early on, they were starting to look like they were one of the best teams. What do you want to see from EG, Lizard?
Perhaps enter, question mark, enter. If you begin the game like that, maybe it worked in the Singapore Major, maybe it can work here again.
You should learn from your experience in Dota.
Yeah. But to talk about it seriously, it's so difficult to say because they got what they wanted 2 games in a row, and that's this Nature's Prophet carry. And perhaps it's time to move away from that. Perhaps it's time to step away because 2 completely different games and it didn't work out.
Yeah, I agree. EG has a really good history of not picking the same hero in grand finals a lot. So I think this final, they'll try to whip out a different strat. I think that would be the best thing for them to do.
Okay. I mean, this is just such an uphill battle. It's funny. It's been like really fun to talk about all of the different regions, and this one in particular, just with the format of the year, right? I think it's like really fun to look at NA Dota, to look at EU Dota, to look at these teams from China, and also see like SEA and all these other teams really all these other regions really step up. But in the end, it does seem like we might have a Chinese team able to take it. Have you felt like we finally have with these 2 teams, though, that melding of the ideas that we talked about? I kind of want to look back and just get a feeling for how the format actually did play out, since we already know it's a tough road for them, and we've already kind of looked at everything that did happen in that second game. I'm just curious how you guys feel overall about the tournament and how the regions really did butt heads and collide, and we get these final ideas that we see in this game.
Well, I think China in this DPC season have clearly proven themselves so far like the best region. They were given 4 slots at each major. They managed with those slots to secure 4 slots for TI. And I think, I don't know, it's weird. Because of COVID, we just haven't had that much international. Yeah, and it's weird to see such stark differences in the play styles of each region. Although I will say, LGD, I don't know, they just play like good Dota. I don't even think they really play Chinese Dota, but they learned it from the region, right?
You said it before, reminiscent of Wings, right?
They are really reminiscent of Wings.
Everybody right now, like when watching all these games, I think NoTail just tweeted something out too, like, yup, Wings vibes, like total Wings vibes. So,
speaking of NoTail, it's an EU team, right? PSG. No copium here. We're doing it.
Right.
We're actually in the final.
Like,
LGD is one of the top 8 EU teams that could take down the top 1 NA.
What was the tweet from him? I think it was January 1st. It was like NA Dota, Omega LOL, EU Dota Supreme or something like that.
Should retweet that now.
Yeah, should retweet it, right? I saw a comment on Reddit when we were looking at the music video that Owen put together. And they were like, yeah, the only thing dropping harder than this beat is the EU Dota team. It's so good. But I am just so surprised to see a final go this way. I mean, AG looked fantastic until they ran into LGD, and LGD has been making all their opponents look like soft bread, and they're just tearing them apart. And this might be a 3-0. A reverse sweep looks nigh impossible at this point.
A reverse sweep sounds pretty anime though, right?
Definitely. This is what we've been building up to. The anime storyline.
Yeah, people don't
their
know
time
this,
to shine.
but the Dota scene's scripted, like wrestling. We just make the stories.
It's all scripted.
I've always wanted to have a completely scripted esports league. I think it would just be so good. Like, you just have people from different scenes as well, like, show up, and it's like, all of a sudden, like, NoTail shows up and wins, like, a Street Fighter tournament. Like, I just think it would be the most entertaining thing ever. I mean, it would be nice to see OG win something, right?
They won 2 TIs. I think they're happy. No matter
They're
what
fine.
happens,
They're fine.
I'm so excited to watch everything in EU when we get to the regional.
Oh, it's gonna be crazy. I think EU and C specifically, those regions look like they
super competitive.
So wait, so who is it now? It's so you have Team Nigma, OG,
Liquid, Tundra,
and Tundra.
Brame, Hellbear Smashers, and most important, Team Bold Reborn.
Yep,
but the favorites.
Who are your favorites right now? Because obviously OG's probably had a lot of time to prepare. I don't know what it's actually like to prepare when you're not at them. Like, I feel like Nigma right now is going
It's
to be
probably the favorite.
Right,
It,
like,
it
they
has
have
to be
to,
Enigma.
With the showing of the tournament. But the thing is, those other teams, I think we saw throughout the DPC that, I mean, the reason why Enigma's not at TI is because they couldn't perform against those specific teams, right?
Yeah, it's
If they did better against those teams, they would be at TI.
yeah, it's very similar here with these two teams, right? Like PSG LGD in the league did not look the strongest. Aster was playing with every single team throughout the DPC league. They came into the tournament, played 2 series, and they're out.
It is really crazy when we kind of look back at some of those series, and it's really crazy when we look back at these first 2 games as well, to find ourselves just 1 game away potentially from LGD being able to close out the grand final at the major. Let's jump into that game.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking? We need a turn of events here. Things are not going according to plan. This is not how it was supposed to happen. We were supposed to come back to a real neck-and-neck battle. Things were supposed to be even. I wanted grand finals to be the Game 5 that the legends are made of. And LGD are just making fools of evil geniuses. And now, all of a sudden, public opinion is like, oh, I've always loved LGD. I've been watching since Season 1 DPC. What is with all these hipsters, Effie? Why are they only suddenly now getting hot on LGD? You've been hot on LGD this entire tournament, it seems.
Fake fans.
Fake fans. Bandwagoners.
Bandwagoners. LGD are my boys. Because I do really like EG as well. It's just that when I watched LGD in the Chinese DPC, I thought they were so creative and so cool with their drafts. And I thought to myself, okay, they didn't get first place. Aster beat them, but they just looked more innovative and more fresh than Aster, and that translates a lot better internationally.
I was highly critical of LGD over the course of Season 2 DPC because Ame was the least reliable carry you could ever have on a Tier 1 team. And now, all of a sudden, it's... Are the Wings comparisons overblown, Jenkins?
No, I was literally just about to say it.
Tell me.
You want to not do it because it's so easy.
I know.
But then-
especially because 2 of the players are there.
But then they just prove it to you. If you don't believe it, you just watch the next game and it's like, okay, maybe they are Wings. We'll see. Next game's like, okay, I'm skeptical. Yep, they're cliffing Arteezy and then putting things on the ground. I mean, it's ridiculous. They just play anything too. Like their mid laner can play active heroes. They can play defensive heroes that are like tower pushers. Like there doesn't seem to be any archetype that they fit. It's scary. It's terrifying. And then winning in the late game like that. Now, granted, it's a TB versus Nature's Prophet. That's naturally going to favor the Terrorblade. Any hero going late game against Terrorblade is going to feel bad because of Sunder, among other things. But still, the way that they played the map was absolutely beautiful. Like, they just cut waves. I was laughing that Faith Beyond was just tree sitting for 2 minutes, and then he comes out and he cuts a wave, and it means that EG can't push a Tier 2 tower. I mean, it was clinical. And this is not something that they've really had to do before, but they just did it here. It's nuts.
And I've got to say, that Brewmaster looked really bad for the first 20 minutes of that game. But when he got to the point where he had Ags, Aeon Disc, Refresher, how do you fight that? How do you fight that as EG? You don't have
hero more
BKBs.
popular then?
You have 2 Aeon Discs and no BKBs. How do you fight all of these Brew ultis?
Is this the power of the Wings-esque thing where every hero they pick, you're like, well, that should be top tier. The way that they're making it look like seems like it should be first phase, first ban.
Yeah. Did you ask why it isn't more popular?
Yeah.
Because it's not good. Because it shouldn't get to that point. Like, it got completely destroyed. It looked so bad. Didn't
Well, to be fair, one thing that this team does really well is that oftentimes they'll have Faith Beyond doing something. Why? What's so... Am I doing this?
Make the points with your claws.
I
Your
didn't even
little
realize.
pincers.
I'm getting so used to the thing.
The thing about
the
this.
claws.
I was doing it too. Okay.
I feel like I have 4 fingers
No,
anyway.
no.
They will play with their mid laner, even though it's nothing to say, and the guy is, literally rank 1. Period. I'm not about to say in China. I'm saying literally rank 1 in the entire world. All the MMRs collide. He's rank 1. So he's the best. And they buff him up. And you see it a lot of games. They'll buff him up and cast everything on him. Even in that game, Orme sundered him, and hilariously he walks in and dies. Like there's you know, this shit happens. But with that being said, in that game, nothing to say. Built really defensive items. He just had a hood BKB, and then on the offlane, oh, I'm doing it again, aren't I?
You are.
And then on the offlane,
I'm even more engaged because of it.
okay, that's good. That's what this is for. In the offlane, Faith Beyond had Midas and Refresher Orb. Like the guy is absolutely greedy, insane play, but it's made up for by the fact that the rest of his teammates can play around it, right? And it's like if they couldn't play those styles so well, there's absolutely no way that he can go for those greedy items and make the Brewmaster that you hate so much work. You were just shit talking the entire game, the Brewmaster.
No, I said if he got to the point where he had Ag's Refresher, it was GG.
I would like the speaking claw, please.
I'm gonna say I cannot repeat the profanities of what Effie was saying. But there was
This is
also
a lie. You're absolutely lying, Mr. 1 in 17.
But
This is a
I
1
also
in
can't
17
repeat the
stuff.
profundity, that's a word by the
One-
way, Google it,
It is.
of what Effie was saying
I
too,
don't
because
think
she's a
that's
great
not
analyst,
though.
she's a great analyst, does a good job, but was viscerally swearing about this Brewmaster pick, and then look how it turned out.
Yeah.
I was a believer.
You were not. You said EG would win this game.
No, I said EG would win because I am stupid and don't know what I'm talking about.
Perfect.
In
Silence.
In LGD,
Silence.
LGD are gods.
Go on, Tsunami.
I don't have the speaking claw. I need to confiscate these.
No, that's not the speaking clause.
Wait, do I get it back?
Give him both.
Actually.
See if he gets more power if he has both. That's not the right way. Okay.
Look at that. I started the draft. How good am I? Oh, wait, no, never mind. Production just took it away from us.
Why?
Because we want to see the absolutely beautiful players
Oh, they are
on both
beautiful.
sides.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
We've got a great deal of praise for LGD. We've got to solve some of these shortcomings for Evil Geniuses, though. What went wrong in that game number 2? Was it this carry pick? Is this Nature's Prophet just not the solution against LGD?
Effie thinks so.
I didn't say that. No, what is wrong with you? Why are you creating these
It's absolute
narratives?
See,
carnage.
this is the bandwagoning that we're talking about.
Carnage
Effie.
behind
You
the
see this,
What is
man?
wrong with you, Jenkins?
All of a
Stop it.
sudden.
I'm unbiased.
Let me say my points, okay? I think that kind of draft is EG's bread and butter, but they just couldn't close it out. They just got outplayed.
What is bread and buttery about it? Because whenever I think of like RTZ, my first thought during this tournament has been illusion carries. And so
Like, carries that farm very fast, that help the team and are very strong mid-game. That's what I think when I think of it.
okay, and then Roamers on crit,
Abed played out of his mind.
playmakers on Abed.
He played out of his mind and so did Crit. They both played so well, it was so sad to see them lose after those kind of performances. Abed even managed to steal the cheese, the Aegis, and the shard.
Dude,
But they still lost the fight.
Abed legitimately in that last game was the best player, and he did not win. I legit think he played better than all of LGD after all the praise that we just gave LGD.
It's a
I think,
team game, my
yeah,
friend.
it is such a team game, and oh god, that's got to feel bad, you know? I don't know if that, you know, festers in the team environment. I would hope, I
Got
would hope
one
that
for
it doesn't.
grand finals. Jenkins, you're not allowed to use that word anymore.
I was given one per panel, but I hope that it doesn't continue that way, but because I would like to see more games.
Also, there was this one moment when Crit had this insane magnetize, and Abed zips in at the top, was it top or bottom? At the bottom racks, and then it looked so good for them. But then his Eon Disc pops, and then he does no damage to Terrorblade, and Terrorblade kills him. But it was such a good game though, like that was so fun to
And the
watch.
instant hex too coming out was just absolutely.
Yeah, we were talking about how Brewmaster wasn't looking that great. I was also not convinced on Shadow Shaman. I thought, like, oh, okay, if Lion's banned, then you just kind of gotta take instant hex off the table and maybe explore Skywrath for instant silence or Rubik for instant telekinesis, but it looked good. And
You need hexes, which is not like that's very good. You know, silence can be played around very easily, but hex you cannot play around that easily.
now LGD continuing their trend. They will first phase the axe, off lane, carry, who knows? And pick up a Mirana afterwards.
Great combo. It's a very easy setup for the arrow, and the cool thing about Axe as an offlaner, which is Mirana, is that Mirana's very capable of being extremely greedy, and she scales very well into the late game, particularly because she can just arrow creeps, get a ton of gold, pick up an eggs, and all of a sudden she does 10 billion magical damage, and Axe gets Vanguard, and he just sits there and cuts and wants to be left alone, giving solo XP, and Mirana's like, okay, I'm gonna go hit jungle. So it's just nice combo for many reasons.
It's a nice synergy. Brad is a hero I hope we would see more of throughout this tournament because I do think she is a little bit undervalued, but I can see why other players are more favored than these kind of things that we see. But I personally hope that Brad is
not banning out Viper, and Evil Geniuses will not fall into the trap. They will not pick it. Instead, they will first face Abed's Templar Assassin.
I am a believer that Abed is the best TA player in the world. This is a subjective opinion, so there are a lot of good TA players in the world, but I've always really liked how he played on this hero. Yesterday, he really impressed me versus VG when he just completely destroyed that combo. He was standing on Ori's high ground at minute 3 with no and just he couldn't even come near the creepers.
Yeah, that
and we don't,
Bunko was getting destroyed.
we don't really see players play like that very often. So that's really cool. I don't know if I like TA that much for EG as a team.
Yeah, so in that game versus VG, it was picked before the Kunkka, and Kunkka was more of a response to it, against a Willow as well. And it's a different type of playmaker. It's a little bit more greedier, which is usually they'll end up putting Arteezy on lower farm priority heroes. They end up banning out the Viper, but oh man, and his Razor's gone too. Oh, okay. Arteezy's gonna have to find someone who doesn't take the triangle.
Track as well.
Yeah. Wow, these are interesting bans coming out from EG themselves.
Yeah.
Do you notice how they don't bat out the Terrorblade because you particularly want to pair a TA with a Terrorblade, even though we have seen before and it hasn't worked? Versus a team like LGD, you don't want to have two players because they will exploit that and they will take advantage of the flaws in your job.
Yeah. I'm wondering, like, are they just gonna pick Arteezy Natures again? It seems like these are kind of the only, you know, if you have a TA mid, this is more of a farm-dependent hero than a Stormseer. Maybe I shouldn't say more of a farm-dependent hero, but it's more of a carry-type hero, especially if you don't win the lane. You just kind of jungle until you get, like, 2 items. And Storm, at least, like, you can fight once you have the Kaya pretty reliably. And so I'm wondering, like, what is the less farm-intensive, more pressury hero that they're picking for Arteezy?
So one of the games that they first phased, Templar Assassin, was versus TNC, and they ended up giving Arteezy a Bloodseeker that game.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. That seems pretty good against all of these heroes. Death Prophet's fast, Nana has leaps, Axe is very fast as well. All of these heroes will eat a lot of damage if they try to run away.
And then Ice ended up taking a Mars, which I don't think I've ever seen a hero be so popular at the beginning of a tournament and the middle of a tournament, and then just disappear in the last 2 days of the tournament, because Mars has been absent.
But it does feel like each series has its own little meta.
For sure.
And Mars just doesn't seem to be there.
Yeah.
I do think Mars is a hero too that's really great in combination with other heroes. So if you have a Phoenix, Mars looks really good. If you have a Death Prophet, Mars looks really good. These heroes that do a lot of damage and they just need somebody to be, you know, kept in one location, Mars is great with these heroes. But if they're not getting picked and there's a lot of disengagement, you can like switch to Wyvern, heroes like Mirana who can press Mirana ulti, jump out of the Mars ulti. Like it does, despite being a good hero, it can fall off just because the meta shifts around.
They played very well with it, but they did pair it with a Terrorblade. TA is enough with tag team to make it worth it. So that's like a pretty nice combo. It's also his style of Dota. He likes to roll and likes to win points for his team.
Assuming that this Wyvern isn't also rotating and cold embracing these people, because it's a smart pick out of LGD. And I think either Jenkins, you or Ali were praising the fact of comboing Wyvern with these heroes that can still continue to deal damage while they're embraced. We saw Leshrac be paired up with it. Death Prophet, keep on your exorcism. Those are going to do everything.
Even Axe, you get an Egg Shard.
Sure, yeah.
So Winter Wyvern just seems so good in this game. What kind of damage do they have through Cold Embrace right now? Venomancer, but with
Venomancer.
with the Holy Locket and the heal talent, it does seem like she can heal through a lot of his DPS, but I suppose he will go for the Spirit Vessel build. He has to.
I do like the Veno pick. I think that this hero, this is one of those heroes that if we had like a few more days of this tournament, we might see it getting picked a lot more because it's a natural vessel builder. You can farm it very easily because Blight Wards do